Welcome back to Tom Dave's Live. Today we have Whitney Vann. Whitney, how are you today?
I never been better. How about you, Tom? Great seeing you.
Doing awesome. So glad we could connect again. And if you don't mind, if you could share with our viewers, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I was born in the small town of Glasgow, Kentucky. I spent 30 years in television. So I was the television morning anchor in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, WBRZ, the ABC affiliate, for 20 of those years. Before then, I skipped around the country like, people in television do. But yeah, and then in the pandemic, when it hit, I had my own show. It was called Weekends with Whitney. Has a YouTube channel if anybody's interested. I did unique people, places, and things around Louisiana. So for the first time in my life, I got to do journalism the way I wanted to. Complete control, owned the show. It was great. And then I was shuttered by the government because I wasn't hard news, right? It was more of a feature show. So I sat around until July, the year the pandemic hit, and I don't sit well. So I thought, what am I going to do? What's my next, right? And I'd spent 30 years in television. I was like, that's kind of a good breaking point. Maybe this is a sign. And I had always thought about real estate. And someone was walking in front of my house. I'm lucky enough to live along the LSU lakes. And so like 2,000 people went by my house. One of them, a real estate agent who used to be in television, and we connected. She was in real estate. And I said, can we have coffee? So ta-da, all of a sudden I was in real estate.
Wow.
And I really, it's interesting, Tom, forgive me for stepping over you, but I intended to go in as an agent, and I met the people at Keller Williams Partners. And instead of going that way, they were like, you need to be our CEO. No one was more surprised than I was. So I spent 2 years as a team leader. Oh my goodness. It's amazing the amount of knowledge that you can learn. And I'm that person who really wants to study and immerse themselves. So I didn't have to. So I'm just going to say voluntarily, I worked like 12 to 14-hour days because I was just a sponge. I wanted to know it all. And Keller Williams Partners is the largest brokerage in Baton Rouge. So 275 agents. There were a lot of people to meet, a lot of things to do, and I wanted to have my A game as fast as possible.
Wow, that's awesome. So what did you learn from your broadcasting career that you moved forward into your real estate career?
So many things. I utilized it marketing. The coaching program, we created the first in the city media room. So agents could go in and I would help coach them. Some people are so nervous about that. That was fun. But I think more importantly was I knew that as team leader, right? Your recruiting is a huge part of your job, that I needed to know what every other brokerage was offering. So I studied that. I did a deep dive into it. And there was one agent who I knew loved the atmosphere, loved everything that was going on at KW, but he would not commit to come over. He's an icon at EXP. And so I committed myself to that investigative work, decided that I was going to learn everything I could about EXP to get him over. Like, where's the Achilles heel? Where's our opportunity? Where does EXP fall short? Right? Where is that? 18 months later, I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find it. And this icon, by the way, used to be with Keller Williams, and about the same amount of time. He has probably 40% more people in his downline at EXP, a little over 200, maybe 140 something at Keller Williams. The difference in his checks, and this is what I couldn't combat. His profit share check every month from KW is about $750 averaging. At EXP, it's $13,000.
Wow.
I mean, what can you do to that? Right? I mean, how in the world can I offer this guy $150,000 to become a member of our broker? I mean, it was impossible. But it also got me intrigued.
Absolutely.
And it made me scratch my head and go, am I at the right place?
Well, absolutely. And so, I mean, you've had amazing success with your broadcasting career, with your real estate career. You were the top team leader in your region, and you could have chosen any real estate brokerage to join. So, and we're honored that you joined eXp Realty. So what else inspired you to personally, what did it solve for you to personally join eXp Realty?
Well, a couple of things. You're right. Thank you. And I loved being team leader, and I love the Keller Williams office. I mean, there are just amazing people there. Some I brought in, some I inherited. I mean, just some of my favorite people are there. So to leave that environment, what I was going to had to be completely amazing. So I made Gary's top 200 1 month before my 2-year anniversary as team leader. And yes, in 2022, we won the region, which was amazing in net agent gain. And I'll say that only because there were 2 huge market centers that merged, Lake Charles with Lafayette and Zachary in northern Baton Rouge with Denham Springs. So each of those offices gained like 170 some odd agents, and we still netted more than them. So that felt great. And then do you ever feel like, okay, been there, done that? It's great. Team leader's hard, but it's great. I was like, man, I just checked off those goals that I had set for myself. And I was like, I'm ready to sell real estate. And honestly, Tom, if you and Don Yoakum had not stayed on me, I probably would be at Red Stick. I mean, that was my plan. And then, you know, the more dialogue, the more conversations, the more, and I say that because there's a great productivity program there. And I know those 2 men beautifully, and I knew they were not going to let me fail. It was kind of like that warm cocoon that you knew people had you, right? It's so, but I knew launching a real estate career, it's now or never. If I'm going to eXp, I need to do it now. Let's brand it. Let's do it. Let's experience it. Much to the heartache of a lot of people there. That was so hard. Oh, I made some of the most difficult phone calls of my life, but it was strictly a business decision. And I think it's one of the best ones I've ever made.
100%. Well, you have the attributes of a leader and a very successful entrepreneur. And those keys are always the 4 top keys. Number 1 is mindset. You have a positive, growth-minded mindset, always learning and growing mindset is key. Number 2 is how you spend your time. You spend your time extremely disciplined, doing the right things in the right order, serving others and helping others. And then number 3 is who you spend your time with. I've really impressed how you spend your time with leaders and big people. You know, Jim Rohn says you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend most time with. And I'm impressed by that. And then number 5 is taking action. You take massive action and you help others grow. You're growing yourself. So we're honored to have you to partner with you at eXp Realty. And so if anyone wants to reach out, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Yeah, you can call my cell, 225-229. It's on the bottom of the screen, 4520, 225-229-4520, or Whitney Vann Realtor at gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, Whitney, so great to see you again. If any of you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to either Whitney or myself. And how
Louie, he had to jump in my lap. Sorry if I seemed distracted for a second during our conversation, but I think he wanted to see what you had to say as well.
Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thanks, Whitney. And we'll
Thanks,
talk.
Tom.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye now.